Welcome back to Anna Mondays. I'm the JJ. Clearly Tsukiyama. This is Tokyo Ghoul Part 3, the year's 2015, and we're just going to hop right into it. We got our first 6 episodes. Before we actually do break into this, I want to bring out, we did comparative reviews for the last one. This one isn't exactly a comparative review. They stated that what they wanted to do with this is hold it on its own. It wanted to do its own things with it. And whether they did that or not is up for debate. Very highly up for debate. But we're going to review it as its own thing. Nothing like, maybe 1 or 2 things you'll hear in this review are comparative to the manga. But most of this is just shit because it's shit.
We are going to try.
We pick up in the middle of battle, and this is one of the biggest problems with this. We ended last arc, as we mentioned, pretty much smack dab in the middle of something.
Yeah, we did not... This first season doesn't end at the end of the arc. This season picks up at the end. So, especially in terms of how seasons work, or how cores work, it's jarring.
And
people aren't likely to remember the last time they watched it.
It's also, it's deflating. All the danger that we had in some of these fights, I don't feel that anymore. Like, we come in and it's just, oh yeah, we were doing this. Oh, yeah. Okay, I guess I'll try to get in the right mind frame. The main point we need to bring up there is it should have happened last season. You should have ended last season with this stuff and then picked up next season with the new season stuff.
Yeah, as it is, it's like we saw Kaneki beat Jason and then just, there's no closure. Yeah. You didn't finish the arc.
Starting at a high, just to go low, just to build back up, that doesn't make any sense. You start low at the new transition, and you work your way up. That's how it should have been.
Pacing!
Another thing we pick up in the middle of is Noro versus Yomo, Tsukiyama, and Uda. And as I've mentioned, it deflates the entire danger there. Like, we came back in, oh, they're fighting Noro? Oh. The strength speech between Ayato and Toka. You have Ayato standing above Toka, giving her the strong survive, and the weak... Oh, okay.
The cliche.
This is really done a little too much. It feels cringeworthy.
Not that cliches are bad, just that when it's this one, it's
they did nothing with it.
Yeah, there was nothing to it.
You tweak cliches to make them seem appealing if you're going to redo them. Yeah,
this just all-out cliche with no real rhyme or reason to it.
I do feel like
it goes nowhere.
I do feel like their relationship is a bit tired. Their whole big brother, little sister, that whole... I know it sounds like I just listed their actual familial, but it's not just that. It's like the smart aleck big brother who's always kind of full of himself, and the little sister who's got that shitty...
Well, we've always got the tsundere.
That's what I'm saying.
Sister.
Kuroiwa and Shinohara go into the Arata armor, and you see them gain these goofy red eyes fighting the fucking owl. And look, I defended it. Because he pointed out, that seems a bit goofy. And I was like, I don't know, I think that's pretty cool. And then, like, one hit, and his eyes go regular again. And once again, I think the problem lies in how small they used it. If they used it a bit longer and ran out...
They were in Arata mode for, like, 10 seconds. Before Shinohara bitched out.
Basically, Kaneki's disappeared from the beginning. We haven't seen much of him. Yeah. Toka's on the ground. She's about to die, if you think that. I'm sorry. But I didn't. No.
Nobody who knows writing tropes should have thought she was going to die.
Kaneki pops out of nowhere.
Oh my god, he literally flew it out of nowhere.
Whoop. Grabs her, pops up. Fucking anti-grav movement and everything.
They choose to animate Kaneki in a way that even the prior season didn't really show. He just, like, suddenly he's like basically a Saiyan in fucking Dragon Ball. He just starts warping around the place.
It's a
and
transmission.
It's like, yeah, it's a little fucking ridiculous for what we know this series is.
No, I completely agree.
And like,
we get it. He trained with Yomo, but I don't think this is the...
Yeah, and coming up in this fight, it perfectly illustrates just how stupid it was. Because at one point, they have a camera shot from Ayato's point of view, firing projectiles, and you just see Kaneki dodging literally a full screen of projectiles somehow.
Hitting to the ground and everything. There's
some
nowhere
way
to go.
Goes around it, then he literally goes under, and the shot doesn't change. It's still firing, and for like 3 full seconds, there's nothing there, and you see Kaneki just pop up, and it's like, nothing about this scene just made any sense.
It looked sloppy. It was almost Anderson-esque. It was almost cool shots for the sake of cool shots.
It was overall sloppy. It's like they didn't think about it. And
I also just have a problem with him being able to keep up with Ayato at this point. Again, he trained with Yomo. You don't train experience like this. In a life or death battle like this.
We complained about the first season not really showing enough to give us. And it just, the way it ends makes this scene make no real sense because his combat experience was limited to a couple, very few sparse training sessions with Yomo.
To a small degree, I don't think he should have beaten Yamori to the degree he did, but you could argue, fine, he's a brute. He's not exactly a fighter. Ayato's the opposite.
But again,
he's that.
Again, that's the result. That's mostly the result of the first season fucking that up. Honestly, they should have accounted for that.
Nishio helps Toka off of someone's back, or I think it was off of Kaneki.
Yeah.
And as he's laying him down, you just see the face of Nishio, and it's just a small, like, little dot for the nose, small line for the mouth, and relatively no face.
His glasses lens are, at the time, the same colors as flesh. So it's like
they just didn't draw it.
Either they didn't draw the glasses, or they didn't notice the flare fuck up.
I know for a fact they didn't draw it because of the way that it's handled. When he comes up, literally like a frame or two higher, you see them finally appear. We see Juzo dragging a body, assumedly Jason, because of the tile floor. That's pretty much all we had to go on.
Yeah, and the tile floor and the fact that the building shown beforehand was the building.
When did that? Yeah, but that literally can be anyone's body in there at that point.
I know. It's really just the size. You don't see it.
When did we see him like actually attack him and finish it off? When did we see none of this happen?
When did Juzo get in that room?
When did he get in there?
Exactly.
To that level.
When did he get in that room?
Thanks for the establishing shot on any of this. You know, that's what I mean by shit directing. Also, I need to bring up the question, why is everything collapsing in the first place? I don't remember there being specific structural damage. I guess Kaneki as the fucking...
I heard nothing.
It, but...
Okay. The only explanation I could have is if Algiri or the CCG were like setting up explosives everywhere, or if Algiri already had explosives set up everywhere to level the building, take out the CCG in like a coup de grace. But there is nothing of that. The building's just collapsing for whatever reason.
I do genuinely think the intent is Kaneki going nuts in that one Yamori fight was supposed to be.
But that was in that one dome area.
I know.
The entire structure that was connected over here was collapsing when it had no reason to. It just doesn't make any sense.
We have the wrap up here with sad music and the setup and reveal of Nico as a clown, which I actually think this was a really well done scene. Handled nice. The clowns always get the last laugh. Well done. Other than that, there really wasn't too much in this episode that was well done, so I have to give it where it's at.
You know what?
Well handled. Nico's a surprisingly tragic tale for me. I want to say that. You know he's fucking pulling strings and being an asshole, but I still feel bad for him because of the way he just like throws himself to Yamori, the way that he yearns for that weird relationship. Kaneki, in this point, he's in this weird like dust zone. He's in the Dungeon of Doom for some fucking reason, and Eto, who is Bandage Bitch, as you've so eloquently put, because we don't really know her name at this point.
Or Mummy with Cloak.
Kaneki runs into Eto, who's warping behind smoke, and she's just instant transmissioning, just wisps in the wind, and he just no-sells it. And I think the biggest problem with this scene is that nothing is happening. It's a boring, dead scene. She's warping around like this is supposed to be some sort of feat, and Kaneki's just...
And he just goes, "Oh yeah, I know you're over there." And then
if he said that, it would have been nice.
Yeah, no.
He didn't.
A bridge joke. And then, like, back in front of him or something for some reason. Or did the scene change?
No, yeah, I'm pretty sure it is just, like, for some reason she's going back and forth just to fuck with him.
He doesn't care. He visibly doesn't give a shit.
Which, why would the audience? If your own characters are not caring about the feats that we're seeing, there's no reason for us to.
Yeah, and at that point, why even bother showing these feats? Why not just have a regular encounter?
We end with Kaneki, as I mentioned, joining Aogiri and leaving Anteku, which makes no sense for two reasons, and I'll go over both of them in my head. They broke him and other people, which goes against Kaneki, well, himself and his ideas towards others. Doesn't want that happening, so he wouldn't do it. Then you have Ayato, who wouldn't do it because he just got broke by Kaneki.
Algiri themselves didn't break Kaneki, but it was someone who they
under their regime
as a leader.
Right, so technically they're responsible.
That would make literally every other member responsible, and considering what we've seen in Valkyrie, they really don't give a shit what their leaders are doing.
Or about the people that are under their employ, which is also which should also rub Kaneki the wrong way.
They treat their own servants like shit.
Which should rub Kaneki the wrong way. So from there, we're going to move on to episode 2.
First,
you want to talk about the opening?
Alright. Episode 2. We are, at least I'm pretty sure we were introduced to it here, our new season 2.
I think we might have had it in the first episode, but just playing it safe.
Our new season 2 opening.
Keep in mind, season 1 was one of the rare glimpses of enjoyment we had in the series.
Yeah, most people who've seen the first season will tell you Unravel is great. And that opening is fucking awesome. For some reason, season 2, Route A, we have the laziest opening.
Just saying, there's a problem where when I'm literally trying to skip to the end part of the piano, like, just to hear that little end and then we'll start the episode, there's a problem. And I don't skip openings.
It just seemed like someone was just on the piano just doing whatever the whole time.
We pick up with a meeting of CCG members and they're discussing plans, and this happens after a really flimsy setup for, basically for Arima. For no reason, they just go, backstory! Well, of who? What are we... Who's backstory? Are we going into Mato's backstory? Why are we going into Mato's backstory? Oh, to show Arima. Oh, okay, that's the only reason? That's fine. That's not flimsy at all. We get a nice... One of the rare, respites in this... One of the brief respites in this. We have a nice slice of life couple of moments in this episode. One with, Nishiki setting up, Toka's college life. Go give her the tour, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Really like the setup for that. And then I also like Toka and Yoriko's relationship, which is always a nice slice of life. And me and you finally realized it's literally Ryuko and Mako.
Yeah.
Toka obviously being Ryuko.
It's that kind of relationship. Where
so it's enjoyable.
Yoriko's a bit more of the airhead.
But she's so fucking happy and gung-ho about everything.
It's cliche, but it's still nice.
So they treat Hide working for CCG as a reveal, even though the whole episode we saw him on his bike and this.
Saw him on his bike with that hairstyle and the hat on.
Covered by a hat. Are we fucking... Does Hide also work for the Daily Planet? Because this is fucking Superman level.
We opened up this season with him in the hat, long hair, and jacket, and then they decide to show us now with like shadow eyes, like this is supposed to be a reveal.
The way he takes the hat off at the desk, and he's been working here he's a new guy, yeah! No. So we get a setup for Aki D'Amato. I think it's personally handled well, but I think it would have been better as a cliffhanger. The way that it's just, I'm Aki D'Amato's daughter.
Yeah, middle of the episode. Again, pacing. Pacing is just horrible.
Because that would be such a good, oh fuck, he had a daughter?! So they make a lot of choices like sad music in this. Well, they'll play like sad music during a weird moment, and it just comes across as too much, and it makes me wind up laughing rather than actually feeling anything more.
I think it's the fact that they're not only sad songs, but they have vocals with them that have like the most cliched Japanese English use.
It's like Kaneki will get pushed to the ground. How do you feel when your heart is broken?
It just comes off like as hilarious.
No, yeah.
Overly dramatic in the sense of the word.
So Eto is walking in this mansion. You see like nice stuff everywhere, and she disrobes those cloths, those wraps, and you deliberately see black hair. Now, spoiler alert, we're gonna go a little ahead in the future here. She doesn't have black hair. This is deliberately to lie to the audience and fool them for a reveal later.
You could argue that, maybe it's the lighting, but Eto's hair is noticeably green.
A lighter green.
To the point where in the lighting they had, it would still be a noticeable tone of green. Not flat out black.
Episode 3, we'll move on to that. Ayato and Kaneki work together to break out Naki, which makes no sense. Ayato shouldn't want to work with Kaneki, and Kaneki shouldn't want to work with Ayato. Whatever.
Yeah, they're just like completely neutral towards each other for whatever reason.
They seem to be working pretty well together too.
Yeah, but like,
I wouldn't even say neutral. They seem to be kind of almost friendly.
In terms of their demeanor, they just like don't say a word.
But they work well together. They don't complain at all. They show no signs of distress.
They're really just robots that are like programmed to work well together. That's really it.
That honestly just another problem. The characters just feel
computer. They have no development together. What you think if they have to work together, we'd be getting that.
So So moving on. Hinami heads to Takatsuki-sen's signing. Why alone? Because everyone in that Anteiku is retarded.
Oh,
We're just gonna let Hinami go get a book signed alone, even though there's plenty of people here. We can send one. We can send one of these people with her. Nah.
Get a book signed with the most conspicuous outfit I've ever seen that doesn't match.
Yeah.
She's got like the weird looking hat and a big ass jacket. It'd be like if Yomo was just walking in the middle of the street in his long black coat.
You know what? Also,
you don't do that.
It also just hit me, Adam. Takatsuki-sen is, from what I remember, noted for like serial killer works and stuff like that. Why are we letting a little girl go alone to this?
Just
that's even worse. That's just even worse. That's just even worse, though. Let alone the safety issue. Then it's what she's reading. Nishiki abandoning Toka at college is both. It's funny. It's realistic to his character. Because for a minute you're like, why is he being so nice to her? I've showed you enough. Go away. Wow, there's the shitty Nishiki that I know.
Alright, I gave you the tour. You didn't give me any tour. You just brought me to the college.
No, yeah.
Yeah, that's all you need.
Seeing Jason 13 go to Juzo, it's honestly a cool scene with great comedy of him breaking the kink steel.
Okay.
What the fuck, man? We need that. I don't give a fuck. I'm contractually obligated to be an asshole.
But
he's literally Bugs Bunny. Ain't I a stinker? Yeah, all in all, there were some good moments. It's ironic to think that the slowest and most boring episode probably had the most actual good moments in it.
Yeah. That's real unfortunate.
Yeah, that's really weird. I think this was probably the most boring. It felt like nothing productive happened due to pacing and structure issues, but anyway, we'll move on. Episode 4. Amon goes to visit Priest, which is the nickname, Donato, with Akira. It's handled well cultivated atmosphere. You have a Hannibal-like feeling to this because the character flat out is basically Hannibal.
Yeah.
Well done. The biggest problem with this whole Priest-Amon talk is that Priest first implies that Amon hasn't visited him. It's like, oh, you haven't visited me in a long time.
I never thought you'd actually visit me.
Right. So basically then he mentions the murderous partner. It's, how did you know about Mato if you haven't seen him in a while, or... Like, it just doesn't
add up. About his crazy partner.
Did somebody bribe you for information with that? Like, what? We don't know that.
Have you talked to his partner? His partner, like, mentioned you or something? I don't think he would.
There's a line here from Amon as he's walking away gripping the fucking cross after you see the horrible backstory from fucking Donato. And it's just, I feel nothing but loathing for you. I wear this cross to never forget the horrors that happened.
With an Amon that looks like he's clearly 15.
Oh, the backstory, yeah.
He does not look like a kid.
Yeah, he is way too... You know what? It's Amon. He's too big for his fucking character all the time.
Yeah, he is like 7 feet tall.
But you have a powerful hate speech from Amon, and from Amon that means a lot. Because Amon is the one who's like, yo, Ghoul, let's talk, One-Eyed Ghoul. We're friends, One-Eyed Ghoul. Let's make progress, guy. He's friends with Mato.
Guy?
That just proves it. He's friends with Mato. After a decent fight scene, Amon... and Akira both jump from way too high for their ankles to not be shattered.
Yeah.
They do an inhuman jump, and
Akira uses her quink, though, to, like, not only jump, but to seemingly break her fall, because it curls up. So for her, I'll let it slide. For Amon, absolutely the fuck not. He jumped from, like, 20, 30 feet up above and lands on his ankles. He didn't even roll with it. He broke his damn legs.
At the very least, it followed a decent fight scene, though. Seeing them actually fight back-to-back was cool.
Yeah.
So we sloppily, and this is what I mean about pacing issues, this is the perfect example, we sloppily switch from this scene to Kaneki freeing Shachi to Juzo versus Shiro and Kudo's setup, all in the span of like 3 minutes. We are literally setting 3 things up at once, and it does not move. It's so frantic and chaotic that it's shit. Naki fights Akira and emotionally protects his men in tears, well handled when he bites Akira. I really, really liked this scene. I thought it was handled well. Credit where it's due. Shachi goes Saitama on Kaneki, which is nice because it means, you know, we actually have a goal again, and Kaneki's not Superman.
Yeah.
And when I mean one punch, it was literally just... One punch! You could see him go.
But he just, like, gut punched him as hard as he could. Although it's Shachi, I'm almost shocked that we didn't see, like...
The fist go through?
The fist, like, go through.
Like the rubber effect on the body.
Yeah.
We end, and this is remarkable, folks. This is a momentous occasion. This is history in the making. We end on a remarkable triple fist hanger. Suzuya versus Shiro and Kuro.
So cheap.
Kaneki and Shachi. Ayato and Shinohara.
So cheap.
This is new levels of cheap and shit pacing. Episode 5, we pick up with Shiro and Kuro backstory, which honestly just means one of them's gonna die, if you know how this works. They're not majorly important enough to warrant it, so when it happens, one of them's probably getting killed off. And I'm really not wrong. Juzo goes full heel here, and I honestly love this, because this is the absolute max that you see him, like, he's full on here. And then the next few times you see him, he starts wearing down due to Shinohara. And then the actual moment happens and he switches. But this is very imperative to seeing Juzo at his absolute worst for his character dynamic, for his arc.
Yeah.
They do it well, too.
He doesn't really have any love for these former classmates or anything.
Not even just that, the fact that they're like sisters, and you literally know that, and you're laughing at the death of one in front of the other one. Alright, so Tatara's meeting with Hoji is well done, intense. It's kind of like a meeting of the minds. I really enjoyed this. It's a good, interesting... It has a good, interesting rival feeling, but it also sets up for later with Seido, which I don't remember that in the manga, so good for them.
Yeah, more of a nemesis feeling, where it's just like, because, you know, Tatara, you
That's what I mean, it's almost rival-like.
My companions.
Yeah. So the centipede shows up, we ignore what happened with Shachi, because last we left off with that, he was going into that fucking Kakuja mode, whatever you would say.
Yeah, Kaneki, and
then apparently he's already in this other room, so what happened with Shachi?
Yeah, with all the bodies and skulls that is just there.
Okay.
Why?
Was that Arima's room? The skulls and bones everywhere. The anime has done a pretty shit job so far of explaining the anatomy of a ghoul. They skip a lot. This will probably be one of the major comparative things I have to bring up. When you don't do things like the RC cell gates, then stuff like the RC cell, anti-RC cell gas means nothing. We don't know how any of this anatomy works because you decided to make it more about the action rather than the psychological understanding.
You never explained really what the fuck RC is.
At the absolute height of an emotional Amon vs. Kaneki, the one-eyed owl comes in and slows the plot down.
Yeah, the one-eyed owl who looks a lot like Yoshimura, but with a different hair color.
Which is it's pretty noticeable. You have this moment happening with Kaneki and Amon, and it's what we've been following from season 1. It's this, oh, together they can actually change the world and make it a better place. And then, no, because we can't have it move that fast, because we can't have Amon save Kaneki and talk to him. No, we have to have the fucking owl come in and slow the plot down.
Yeah, and then...
That's cheap.
And then grabs Kaneki and Ayato. Ayato, who was fighting Shinohara at the time.
Who was dying on the ground at the time. We end on the one-eyed owl helping Kaneki and Ayato out of the arena, which is honestly rather anticlimactic, and it just kind of ends and we move on to the next episode, which is 6. We pick up on Kaneki having an unprovoked Kakuha seizure.
Ah! Ah!
We get some backstory on Shinohara and Juzo's relationship. It's very touching, and it only escalates, well, basically culminating in what, in my opinion, is the best character arc in the series. Bar none, honestly. Takizawa frantically answering the phone, calling his superior a bastard. Great comedic scene, and...
Yeah.
And also career suicide. So Akira feels responsible for Amato's lack of promotions, so she basically matured quickly. This is saying that Akira became who she was because this is beautiful, this is sad, this explains her perfectly.
She felt burdensome to her father.
She wanted to help her father obtain those ranks he couldn't. So in her mind, I can't do that because he's focused on me. I'm going to let me focus on me so he can focus on me. Amon spending the night doing push-ups and taking care of drunk Akira is just... It's one of my favorite scenes. It adds a human element, as I've mentioned, because a lot of this does, because you have such grand ideas as ghouls, so it always drags us back into reality, which is perfect. It's funny, which it needed to be. It's touching, which it needed to be. It furthers both characters while not only adding stakes to the plot, but to the characters themselves, their lives. The more they get together, the more you don't want them to die, either one of them. So it does so much, so thank God this wasn't skipped. Thank God this was here. This was the perfect scene. You did this perfectly. We end teasing the CCG members, including the evil doppelganger of Vash the Stampede. I'm not kidding.
I can't think of a perfect parody name, but I always looked at that motherfucker. Well, I forgot what his name. I think it was Hashikawa or something.
I think it is something like that.
He literally looks like a more sinister Vash.
It's Vash the Stampevil.
Vash the Stampevil.
That's pretty much where we're going to leave off for that. I do want to wrap up with this. This was way too close to the manga to warrant self-treatment, yet also changed shit that we didn't mention because we didn't want to make it non-comparative as much as possible. That screws them later. So it gets even worse. The fact that they didn't do these things, not just in the moment. Is it the worst? This is the best way I can put it. Is it the worst? No. Is it bad? Yes. They said it's going to be its own thing. They lied.
If you're going to make something actually different, you need to go the original Full Metal Alchemist anime path, where you deviate immediately and do everything different.
Yeah.
It's mind-boggling.
And one last thing I do want to mention before the outro. I do want to say that... What the fuck? One thing I want to mention before the outro, I just need to really bring this up. Yeah, there's a lot of comparative things towards the end of that, but I also want to say that on its own, we've done a completely good job. 90% of this, I would say, is why this is just bad as far as pacing, direction, and itself. Then you just layer on top all those other things comparatively, and you have, as I've mentioned, a mediocrity. So yeah, that's all we really have for you this week. Join us next week for the next part of this, the final part. That would be part 4. If you can, click the arrow below. Make sure that's indeed the part we are doing. It'll tell you what we're doing in the description. Like and subscribe if you can. Comment. I've been the JJ.
Fuck Rudy!
He's been disappointed, and we'll see you next week.